So the first topic is that Deadpool Wolverine has become the highest R-rated movie and surpassed the Joker, which is great to see. As I love Deadpool Wolverine, and it's great to see this movie just has continued to do well, and that people just keep coming back to constantly see it. So this is great news, deserving in my opinion, because for me, I just really love the movie. The movie really personally worked for me. The next thing is, so they put out a new trailer for Kraven. Here's what I'll say about this trailer. I think the accent looks good. They're definitely going for an all-rated vibe, and it's a slightly better trailer than the first trailer, but like they got rid of some of the ridiculous stuff with the whole him getting his powers from lying. And I know this movie apparently got delayed because of reshoots, and I'm assuming that's because of the reaction to that first trailer. And look, this trailer is better, but I still don't find myself really all that excited about this movie. Like, it's a slightly better trailer. I give it credit for the fact that the accent looks really good when it comes to all weighted stuff. And they did get rid of some of the silly stuff with him getting powers from a lion in the first trailer. And, I guess it's good that they delayed this movie. Like, the reason they got delayed was because they wanted to do massive, like reshoots. And it definitely looks like for this trailer, for this Kraven movie, that they maybe took out some of the ridiculous stuff from the first trailer. But overall, I'm still don't think this is a great trailer. Like when it comes to the look of the wino in this trailer, uh, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Like I'm not really a fan of the whole like gray face. Like in the costumes, it's like a gray costume, and then he has a human face. They made his like face all gray in the trailer for this movie, and it just looks a little silly to me personally. Now I will also say this: the Wino is a very, I think in my opinion, he's a very hard character to translate to live action, and I don't know because I've always said this. There's certain characters where I feel like how they look in the comics is hard to translate in the live action. Like MODOK was a great example in Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. I was like, MODOK looks great in the comics and the animation, but when you take that look into live action, it looks goofy. It's kind of how I feel about Rhino in this trailer that we saw, where he looks a little silly to me, especially when it just looks kind of goofy to me. So, like, especially with the gray face, like I said, and overall the trailer just, I don't know, it just didn't impress me, this Craven trailer. Like, I'm just not really excited for this movie. Like, this and Hellboy are pretty much the two movies this year that I just don't feel any excitement towards. Now, I hope this movie ends up being good. Even though I think the Sonyverse movies about Spider-Man have not been all that great. Like, I love Venom Let to Be Carnage, but I can understand why people didn't love that movie. It's definitely goofy. I can totally understand the criticisms towards that movie. I enjoyed the first Venom movie, but didn't think it was great. I thought Morbius and Marvel were terrible. So overall, it's like this new trailer for Craven. Yeah, it's a slightly better trailer, I think. But did it impress me? Personally, no, and I still don't have any excitement for this movie personally. I hope it ends up being fun and great. But right now, my excitement just is like extremely low for Craven. The next thing is that Fede and Alvarez was talking about having a piss for the Alien vs Predator movie. Like he was saying, we said, I said I'm been the Prey director, and he can track half it, and he can track the other half. And look, I'll say this: I don't love the Alien vs Predator movies. I enjoy the first one. It's slocky, it's goofy, it's not great, but I have a decent time with the first one. The second one's awful, but I do think that with how great Prey was and how great Alien Romulus was, even with the 10 to 15 minutes third act, I feel like I need to think more about when I watch it a second time. But I do think both those movies rehabilitated the franchises. And I know we have the two Predator movies coming out, where we have a Prey sequel and then a Predator movie called Predator Borderlands. And if Alien Romulus does really well, then I can see them doing more Alien movies. And I think that would be cool to do an Alien vs Predator movie again. I think you could do it really well. Like those previous two Alien vs Predator movies weren't great, but I do think the idea of doing an Alien vs Predator movie could be really good if done in the right way, like in a way that actually gives you like some interesting characters and is written better story wise. I think it could be done well. So I would love to see like if you wanted to take the Prey director and him and have him like co-direct the Alien vs Predator movie. I think that would be really interesting personally, after how great Prey was and how much I really enjoyed Alien Romulus. again, I think that's a great movie. It's just the 10 to 15 minutes, third act part of it was the biggest kind of problem I had with the movie. But overall, I think he did a great job of getting the Alien franchise rehabilitated, and I think you could do it if they have a really good story to tell. They combine those two franchises again, but I could definitely see it happen again, and I think Fede Alvarez and the Prey director would be a great idea to like team up and do a Alien vs Predator movie. The next thing is that Crow is projected to open between 7 and 11 million. I'm not surprised by this because the Crow movie coming out, a lot of people are excited for it. I'm excited for it, even though I have my concerns about the look of the Crow, the design of the Crow, which isn't really clicking for me in the trailers, but I can understand that. And look, when you go back to the original Crow movie, it's not like that movie was some gigantic hit. Like, it did decent. It's a beloved movie. I love the original Crow movie. It's one of my all time favorite comic book movies. But it wasn't a gigantic hit. I don't think people were excited for this new movie. I don't think people really have like how the trailers. I don't think the trailers have done a good job of getting people excited for this movie. A lot of people just don't like the overall design they're going for. And I know some people feel like it shouldn't have been made because of Ben Lee's death. So it's one of those things where I am not surprised this is projecting to open extremely low. Like I don't think the Crow movie is going to do all that well. I I am gonna go see it. Like I am excited for it, and I do want to see it when it comes out in theaters. But I can definitely see it being. I can see it flopping this movie and not doing well. I'm not surprised by its projected open extremely low. The next thing I want to talk about is why Reynolds put out a tweet saying how Wesley Snipes Blade should have his legacy sent off. And this got me thinking, like, I would love to see, because he was talking about he'd like to have it done in like a Logan style. I would love to see that happen. I would love to see Wesley Snipes get like a final Blade movie, because Blade Trinity was awful. And I would love to see him get like a better send off than that movie. And I think it could happen because you have the multiverse saga. But I also think there's a high chance this would never happen either. Like him, like Wesley Snipes getting a Logan style send off with his Blade because of the fact you still have that Blade movie, and Marvel Studios seems like they're still gonna do it, even though it's gonna do like two directors and multiple writers, and you know whether that movie happens or not with Moss Ali, I do think you'll get a new Blade movie. Whether Moss Ali sticks with the movie, that's another thing. I'm starting to doubt that, but I do think a new Blade movie will happen. But I don't think it'll be a Wesley Snipes continuation Blade movie. Again, I would love to see it happen if it did, if that does, if Marvel decided to, if they announced that, okay, we're gonna do a send off Blade movie for Wesley Snipes. I'd love to see that happen, but I don't think it will. But it would definitely be cool if it did. The next thing I want to talk about is that James Wan is in talks to direct the Black Lagoon movie, which I would love to see that. Like I know originally he was actually going to direct a spin-off of the Aquaman movies with the creases, with that seeing the first Aquaman movie where Aquaman and we're on a boat, and you see like those sea creatures monsters. It's like horror scene. I remember he was going to do a spin-off of that, and I think he used some of that for the Aquaman sequel. But I think it'd be a great choice. He's a great horror director, and I think he's made a lot of great horror movies. I think he definitely like been a intense and like horror vibe if he does end up directing the Creature Black Lagoon remake. The last topic I want to talk about is James Gunn was saying he's only done. He was talking about the Superman thing. I think it was him saying he's only ever done like 2 days of reshoots or something like that on his last two movies, and that he hasn't like he doesn't sound like he's gonna have to do really any reshoots on the Superman movie, which is great to hear because it sounds like he has the vision. He knows what he knows what he's like, like he has his vision and he knows what movies he's going to make when it comes to doing reshoots. And look, sometimes reshoots can be a good thing, sometimes they can be a bad thing. There's been plenty of movies where that's been good / bad. But he was saying he's only ever done, I think, yeah, no, excuse me, one. It says here, I don't know, I've only done a total of 1 day of reshoots on my past two films combined. So Suicide Squad and Guardians 3. He's only done one day's reshoots. And that's like really awesome to hear. And he talked about this like how he managed to reduce the need for reshoots. And I love what he said here. Over prepare game Gunn answered, don't start shooting until I have a finished script my whole team is happy with. I love that. I love the fact that he doesn't start shooting a movie James Gunn until he feels like the script is complete and that he's happy with the script. That gives me great confidence in a Superman movie because it sounds like he made sure they had a complete script and didn't have to do any like last minute reshoots and stuff like that. Hire actors and department heads I know can do the job. It's great to hear that. So surround myself with people who would challenge me and not just say yes to everything. That's one of the ones I really love because there's certain directors where I feel like you need people around you that's going to. A great example of this is Zack Snyder. I remember he did an interview for Rebel Moon movies where he talked about he only showed the Rebel Moon movies to people he knows that has the same taste as his. I don't think that's a good thing as a director personally. As a director, you should show your stuff, your early cuts of stuff for people who maybe don't have the same taste as you. Because to me, if you don't have people challenging your ideas at times as a director, because the whole point of making a movie is it's a combination. It takes a whole team. And I love the fact that he has people there that he shows his early cuts to that will challenge his ideas and put input into movies and say, maybe that's not the best idea because it's a compilation. It's like to me, I hate when directors like just have yes people around them and just like agree to whatever the director does all the time. Because there's movies where I watch and go like, I wish they like talk to that director and like, okay, this is a little ridiculous. Like I look at the Matrix sequels. The Wachowski brothers to me needed somebody to tell them that okay, this is getting a little weird. Can we cut out some of this talking so much? Can we, same with the Star Wars prequels with George Lucas. He had too many yes men around him that disagreed with whatever his idea was. I look at Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon movies. Too many yes people around him that just said, okay, just do whatever you want, Zack Snyder. Again, Thor: Love and Thunder, Taika Waititi, where I felt like they just let Taika Waititi go on wild. To me, I always find it to be good the fact that a director can say, I had people around me that also would challenge me on my ideas. That's what makes, to me, a lot of times what brings out really great films is when you have people around you that like creatively would give their input too, and not just people around who just like agree with everything the director says. So I love hearing that. To me, it shows how much of a great director James Gunn is. Well, I do find him to be one of the best directors. And he says, ask myself today, are there any smart impressions in the script or what was shooting at might end up feeling like huge impressions when we cut the film together? So I just love all that way he's like talking about, have a complete script, have people around me who challenge me, not just a yes people around me. Again, this is my movie. I think looks fantastic, and I cannot wait for this movie. Every time I'm hearing this, sounds like this is a director that knows what he wants. He knows the movie he's making, and he's just a great creative director. Like to me, he's been on like a streak of just making great movies, and I have all the trust in the world based on this stuff and the fact that he's only done one day of reshoots in his last two movies. I love that. Again, he's just everything he's saying sounds like he's a white choice to start a DC universe, and he's a white creative person to make a Superman movie. So that's all my thoughts on the movie topics. Until next time, movie fans.